people, it's Nicole, and today I want to talk about, you can't see it because I'm too short, Love, Simon! So the movie adaptation of Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda comes out on the 16th. I was able to see the movie in a pre-screening in Seattle on Monday the 5th, and this is my spoiler-free review. I will have a spoilery review that will go up as soon as the movie comes out, but I wanted to post this so those of you who are trying to decide whether you want to see it or are just wanting some kind of information on it before the movie comes out, because I know I was pretty much just desperate to hear anything about it that I possibly could. I did want to have a spoiler-free review that people could check out pre-movie release. So if you're not super familiar with the story, Love, Simon is based on the book Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, which focuses on a teenage boy named Simon who is closeted, and he starts up this anonymous online relationship with another boy at his school who is also closeted. They write each other under pen names. Simon goes by Jacques and the other boy goes by Blue, and they start to fall for each other, but as soon as it starts getting really good, Simon is blackmailed by one of his other classmates who's gotten a hold of the emails and wants Simon to help him get together with one of Simon's other friends in exchange for him not releasing the emails. This is one of my all-time favorite books. It's one of those books that I just keep going back to over and over and over again whenever I need a little bit of a pick-me-up. So I feel a little bit like Mama Bear-ish about this movie. Like, going into it was cautiously optimistic, very excited because I'd heard amazing things from other friends who had been able to see it early. But you know, like, this book is my baby and I am very protective over it, and so I want the movie to do it justice. And overall thoughts, I do think it did a good job. It was charming and adorable and funny, like so funny, guys. This is probably the funniest movie I have seen in a really, really long time. I was constantly just cracking up. And it also has a lot of heart behind it. It's one of those movies that I know I will go back to over and over and over again, just like I do the book. Overall, I think it was pretty well cast. Each of the actors, I felt like, were able to sort of capture the general idea of the characters from the book. In particular, I really loved Abby, the vice principal, and the drama teacher, who were all so well done. Abby is exactly how she's described in the book. She's outgoing and fun and just the kind of person you want to be friends with. And the vice principal was, you know, the kind of teacher who's like really trying hard to be hip with the students, and you're kind of laughing at him, but at the same time he's like really genuinely trying and seems like a nice guy. And then the drama teacher was just so good and so funny and so done with all like the BS at the school. It was hilarious. She, I think, was one of the funniest parts of the movie. Jennifer Garner was really great as Simon's mom. There's a monologue that she has that was in a lot of the trailers that was really just absolutely beautifully acted, and like there's a line from that as soon as I heard it, I'm like, I have a sudden need to get this tattooed on my body. In general, I think the movie really captured a lot of the important emotions from the book. There was a bit of a sort of focus shift from the book, is pretty much primarily focused on the romance, with the coming out story being more of a secondary plot. I mean, like, it's still there and it's still prominent, but the romance is more important. Whereas in the movie, it felt like those were switched. Initially, I was kind of not super happy about that. Thinking about it more, it makes more sense to me now, especially considering the fact that in books, we've had so many coming out stories about teenagers. We've kind of exhausted that well. Not to say that, like, no one should write coming out stories anymore or that they're not still important, but like, we've now moved on to stories about queer people who are already out or whose coming out isn't a big deal in the book. But because as a whole, thematically, YA movies tend to be a few years behind YA books, the YA movie genre hasn't had the emotional coming out stories that are still fun and happy and aren't just like tragedy porn. So because we haven't had that gap filled in the movie industry yet, I'm more okay with Love, Simon filling that gap. I do want to see more queer teen rom-coms come out that like aren't focused on the coming out, but you know, someone has to make that first step. There are a lot of really great side characters both in the book and the movie. Like I mentioned earlier, Abby is sort of a prominent side character, and then the vice principal and the drama teacher are also great, but then we also have like Ethan, who's the only other gay kid at the school, who is absolutely wonderful, and Taylor, who we see more of in the book. I wish we had gotten a little bit more of her, because the glimpses that we did get of her I absolutely loved. I didn't realize until seeing the movie how fast-paced the book is, but like a lot happens in the book, and there's a lot of sort of little pieces that they weren't able to fit into the movie, which I'm not upset about. I get it, you know, with a movie you have to spend more time on certain things, and like different pieces fit together differently, and like the rhythm of a movie is different than the rhythm of a book. But what they did take from the book I think was really well done. One more thing I wanted to mention is the emails and sort of the mystery of who Blue is. I think that that was done really well. I'll talk more specifically about the things that they did that I liked in my spoilery review, but overall it's difficult to do a relationship that exists mostly over email in a movie, and I think they handled that really well. And you know, because it's sort of this mystery, Simon spends a lot of time wondering who Blue could be, and I think that the way they showed that was really well done. I loved seeing Simon's relationship with his family in the movie. I think that that was great. His interactions with his little sister Nora were so cute. I don't think I have very much more non-spoilery things to say about it, other than there are definitely a few things that they did shift that I'm not thrilled with that I'll talk about in my spoilery review. Overall, this is just, it's a great movie that's a lot of fun. It has so much heart behind it. There are a couple moments where, like, you know, it's a little fan service-y, by which I mean it's a little like cheesy, kind of pandering to the genre, but all those moments still made me cry, so I can't really complain about them. Overall, I highly recommend you go see it. I do think it's a really important movie to exist for young queer kids. I know, like, if I'd seen that movie when I was young, it would have meant so much to me. I was talking to my friend on the way home, and she was talking about how much it impacted her and how much of an influence it could have had on her when she was younger. That's the main thing that I've heard from other queer people going to see this movie is, dear God, I wish I had this movie when I was younger, when I was a teenager, when I was still struggling to come out. The sort of message of the movie that they've been using as one of their taglines is, everyone deserves a love story. And that resonates so honestly in this movie, and it's just fun and wonderful, and I love it, and I highly recommend you go see it as soon as it comes out. Again, it comes out on March 16th. Go get your tickets now, they're on sale. And if you haven't picked up the book, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Like I said, it's one of my all-time favorites. Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. So let me know what your thoughts are, whether you've seen the movie, whether you've just seen commercials, things that you're excited to see, things that you're worried about. I would love to talk to you guys about them in the comments. Like I said, I will be posting my spoiler review once the movie is out, so be sure to check that out. I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye!